Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades, and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? We are getting into Love Island series 11, and we are now on episode 33. We know that the public have been voting for like 5 girl and 5 boy. All I know is 5 girl needed to be Mimii. Mimii needed to be saved up there, and probably the 5 boy, probably in my estimations, would have been Kieran at the end of the day. So tonight we know the villa is a bit downcast, a bit teary, because Uma decided to leave with Will, and as Mimii said, Uma made a bold statement, basically doing what she did. She went after what she wanted. As I said before in my previous episode, she should have actually been true with and honest with Ruben in regards to her feelings towards Will, because then he wouldn't have embarrassed himself by picking her. So Ruben says that he does feel awful, but at the end of the day, Ruben did what was right for him. Ruben felt that, you know what, this is what this girl was saying to me in my face, so I'ma take it at face value. I like her, she knows I like her, and she's telling me she's open to get to know me and all this, that and the other. So of course he was going to make the choice he was going to make. That's the person who he kind of was interested in when he first came in. He weren't interested in anybody else. So basically all Ruben says that he wanted to do was to be able to treat Uma correctly, because he felt that she did not get treated good by Will, and she didn't. Let's all just say that she really didn't. So he's basically saying that right now, due to how she's feeling and the fact that she's left with him, he was just happy being a catalyst, basically, of them realizing what they've got. I don't know if he was the catalyst. I think him choosing Uma and then Will about to leave or being dumped from the island was the catalyst of Uma deciding, do you know what, I can't play this game no more. I want this man. I'm not going to stay here and try and be someone I'm not with Ruben, when the actual person that I do want is about to leave this villa. So ergo, I'm going with him. I think that was the catalyst move. So basically Jess is talking to Hugo on the terrace, and I'm just there like thinking, okay, is Hugo going to pull his big boy pants up and tell Jess exactly what he needs to say? Because this man was talking to Ao like, you know what, I'm dumping this girl. And Jess kind of had an inkling that this was about to come. So imagine my shock and surprise when Hugo didn't actually dump the girl. He was just literally moaning about maybe he's happy, but maybe they've moved too quick in this place. I mean, a week is going to feel like a month in that place at the end of the day. So by villa standards, no, you didn't move too quick. You moved just as you was meant to have done. So he's basically saying that he doesn't want it to be a negative, but he wants it to move at a pace that's mutual for both of them. Because Hugo, is missing the flirty banter that they had initially, especially when they were in Casa Amor. But what Hugo has to realise is that Casa Amor is quite different to when you get into the villa. Because by the time you get into the villa, you've had a week of all that flirty banter and yada, yada, yada. But then when you get into the big house, it's all about actually, is there much more than this flirty banter? Is there actually a connection I'm going to have with this person? And that's what Jess was trying to get him to see at the end of the day. Hugo was there reassuring Jess and saying that his head ain't changed. I'm like, my guy, rubbish. You are full of rubbish, because you sat there and told Ao that you wanted to dump the girl because your conversations were dry. So why you not tell her that? I don't know, because you know what? She'll find out. She'll find out when she decides to watch the episodes back that you told Ao that the conversations were dry and you were at the point of dumping her. Okay? Okay. You see Mimii and Josh having a chat, and basically he's telling Mimii that she was the first thing that he thought about, because he knows that, you know, Uma was her good friend up in there. After the debacle with Ao, Mimii and Uma became fast friends. They became quite close, laughing and joking with each other all the time. So Mimii turned around to him and says, well, you have big shoes to follow, because Uma's not there to keep her entertained as she usually do. She know that task is going to fall to Josh, which he said, you know what, I'ma do it. So Mimii pulls up Josh about his speech, because in his speech when he was about to pick a girl, he talked about another girl that he'd formed like he found quite attractive and formed a type of connection with, but you know. So Josh tells Mimii that he did speak to Grace and he didn't realise that Grace is actually such a good vibe. And he's turned around and he's saying, well, that was then, but his lot is he's ready to put all in with Mimii because that's what he essentially came in for. He wants to take his chance with Mimii, basically. So all I was saying at that stage is he better be true. He better be true in wanting Mimii. So Jesse asks Emma and Grace about Ruben. Emma's basically saying that, you know what, she doesn't want to feel second best, and that's what we'll get with Ruben now, because his first pick with Uma and she's decided to go, and they were considering, well, you know, Ruben's single now, so he needs to get to know somebody at the end of the day. Grace was thinking along the same lines, that she didn't want to be second best. But I'm like, but you wanted Josh, my love. You wanted Josh, but he picked Mimii. So if Josh had picked you, you still would have been second best, because Josh didn't come in for Grace, he came in for Mimii solely by shock that he realised that actually Grace is a good conversationalist. Me myself, I don't know where they're getting that Grace is a good conversationalist, because me myself, when she's talking, she just bores the hell out of me, to be honest with you. Don't get me wrong, she's a very direct person and she says what needs to be said at the end of the day. But I don't know if sometimes when she's chatting to the lads that she's giving it full on lip service. Again, I would say, what the frick did her and Joey talk about, like, seriously? Because she seems to be having more in-depth chats with Ruben and with Josh than with anybody else that she did up in there, to be honest with you. So Grace then brings up this situation with Josh and his speech at the coupling. And I'm like, you know what, these girls are full of shits and giggles, you know. These girls are full of freaking drams, because Jessie and Emma are there filling her head with rubbish, and this is why I said Josh should never, when they're making their speeches, they should never make it about another girl. Yeah, because that leaves the door open to say, well, now I know this person interested in me. Although he's picked this other girl, I'ma still make good and still go and pull in for chats and X, Y, and Z, because that sets off a chain reaction at the end of the day. I don't know why they do that. If you're giving your speeches, you should just make it about the girl that you're picking and that's it, or the lad that you're picking and that's it. No, I'm open, or another girl has caught my attention, should come into that speech whatsoever at all. Jessie then turns around and says that Josh is not closed off, and Grace starts laughing. And I'm just like, why is Jessie trying to start rubbish? And I see this a little bit more in terms of Jessie's character, man. There's little things about her that are coming out that's a little bit iffy to me, like proper iffy to me. And I'm not sure if I like her or not at this stage. It's unbalanced. It's unbalanced. I'm not sure if I like her or not. Okay. I just yeah, she makes little digs and little jibes and little backhanded comments. She's too enough. She's way too enough. You see Ayo walking around the villa and he's looking for someone, and I'm thinking, okay, who are you looking for, my friend? Because to be fair, I ain't seen Jessica at all. I don't know where the fuck she's gone, so I thought he was searching for her, but he actually wasn't. He pulls Mimii. You can see that Josh is watching them, so he asks Mimii to go to the den. She goes, okay. So Josh says to Nicole and Kieran, because they're on the daybed, as he's watching Mimii and Ayo go off to the den to talk. And Kieran is basically saying that, you know what, the feelings are strong as they were coupled up from the start. And Josh was saying that his fear is making sure Mimii is fully removed from that situation before he starts to, like, put his eggs, as it were, all in one basket with Mimii. He doesn't want to look like an idiot. All I'm saying is Mimii better be ending that crap with Ayo, because I swear to God, if she lets this man slide back in to her proverbial DMs, I ain't gonna be happy. I'm not. Seriously not. You can't let that man who shat on you and played in your face like a mofo, yeah, be comfortable enough to be coming back in your life like nothing will go on. Can't do it. It can't be done. So basically, Mimii and Ayo have a conversation, and Ayo is basically saying that he feels that the last time they interacted was movie night. So Mimii said basically that she said all she needed to say on that day. And I'm like, at last, people, Ayo apologized to her. And I'm like, it took him measly freaking days for him to actually get up the gumption to go apologize to this girl. He could have done better. He's basically saying there to Mimii that he can't sit there and say that his feelings are lost at the end of the day. And I'm just like, you know what? Stop. Just stop right there. Stop literally trying to weed yourself back into this gal's head. Like, seriously, because I just hope and pray Mimii ain't that stupid. Like, seriously, hope and pray Mimii ain't that stupid. And Ayo needs to go find his girl and go have his chats with her. So you see Sean and Jerry sitting down, and they're looking at, like, you know, Mimii and Ayo having the conversations. So Sean turns around and predicts that Josh will have Mimii and then he'll blow her out for Grace. And I says, no, don't speak that into the universe, my love. That is not going to happen. At the end of the day, or what all of you need to do is mind your business. Yeah, drink your water and mind your business, and carry on with the people that you're carrying on with. Yeah, deal with any type of situations you've got in your own relationships, and leave Josh, Mimii and Ayo alone. Stop pitting Ayo and Mimii together. Yeah, because Josh is in there for Mimii, right? So Josh basically says that he has a really strong connection to Mimii. He basically said that he did speak to Grace, but his connection is more for Mimii, but he doesn't want to come out with egg on his face. Ayo was basically saying to Mimii that it ain't easy seeing Mimii move about the villa and chatting to another man's. And then he quickly had to backtrack to say, because Mimii had to turn around and say, well, it was the same for me, my guy. How can you sit there and tell me how hard it's for you seeing me talk to somebody else when I had to watch you do it not once but twice now? Yeah, and the second time you threw me over when I came back into that villa by my raw self. Do you know what I mean? So no, it's not even on the same par. What Ayo needs to do is sit in his uncomfortableness and deal with it. As again, I'm just hoping Mimii does not entertain this man's shit at all. Well, the talking Mimii to me didn't feel like she was like feeling Ayo in that conversation at that point. So basically, Kieran and Nicole was reassuring Josh and telling Josh that it's completely closed off with Ayo. That's what she says. So you see, it goes back to Mimii and Ayo. Mimi's telling Ayo she's happy for him, in terms of him being with Jessica, and he's basically saying that, you know, she's taking the piss. And I'm like, really, my guy? So the thing with them two is, I don't know if it's nervous laughter when they're chatting, because they don't know how to be with each other, but they will constantly laugh with each other. And it doesn't mean that it's kind of like flirty banter that they're having. It's just literally, I believe, as I said, it's the uncomfortable zone that they've placed themselves in because of the positions that they're in right now with other people. So you see Jessica come out, and I was thinking, where has that girl been? And she's walking past the den, you know, and she looks in and she sees them both sitting there chatting and giggling. And yeah, she didn't like that. She did not like that at all. So Jessica decided to veer herself all the way over to the daybeds to where Josh was, to go chill with Josh and start chatty with Josh. So as she's sitting there, Ayo then finishes conversations with Mimii and goes over to where Jessica is. Jessica looks at him icy, man. So he turns around and she says, why are you looking at me so icy for? And that she needs to warm her face up. I thought, Ayo, who the hell are you talking to like that? Like, seriously, who are you talking to like that? Because at the end of the day, yeah, Jessica's just come out to see you checker it up with Mimii in the den. So she's probably thinking, what the fuck? Yeah. So she's walked off. She's kind of pissed about it. So Jessica said So Jessica said that Jessica turned around and rightfully says to him, "Don't walk over here with your bad vibes at the end of the day," because she was chill. No, Jessica would. Jessica was not chill. Her face told a completely different story. That girl was not chill in the slightest. Yeah. So Ayo talks to Josh as he sits down, and Jessica's sitting there, and basically, I think Josh asked him, "How was your chat?" And Ayo laughs as he does and said it was good. So then Jessica's like, "No, where's the information?" And he's like, "What you talking about?" So it's kind of like when the girls are telling what's happened in their chats, they literally go into detail. With the lads, it's kind of like what you saw Ayo and Josh do with the short answers. But Josh and Ayo got what each one was saying at the end of the day. Jessica may not have got it, but he said enough for Josh to know enough. So Josh tells Ayo that he is excited to see what happens with Mimii next, and Ayo says, I hear you, bro." And Jessica's not getting that they're actually speaking in code. This is what guys do. They literally, if they get comfortable with somebody, or they want to find out information and somebody's there that they don't really want to tell information to, or make them overhear that information, they'll speak in some type of code. And it's, if you're able to decipher it, good on ya, really good on ya. But Jessica was not deciphering that shit because she wanted to know everything, basically. So Jess is having this chat. I don't remember who it's with. I think it might be with Nicole, and she's basically believing that Hugo is used to girls who are quite clingy, and the reason why she's saying that is because, like, you know, Hugo liked that on top flirty banter that he had with Jess in the initial stages. And I suppose within that week, when they were, like, you know, getting to know each other to see if there's a type of connection, they were all over each other, basically. And that's what Hugo's wanting. And Jess is saying she's not that type of person. She literally wants to know a little bit more about you than just be hanging on you like a limpet at the end of the day. So you see Joey and Ayo having a conversation. And basically, Joey, I think it is saying to Ayo, the reason you are where you are is as your feelings have stayed the exact same for Mimii. I said, no. The reason why Ayo is where he is right now in his head and being rather miserable with it is because he doesn't have access to Mimii like he used to anymore. Ayo is a type of person who goes for what he cannot have, who goes for something that is completely elusive and shut off, because this man is never going to be satisfied with the one person that he's with at the end of the day. So he tells Joey that he still likes her, and all I can say is Ayo is full of shit. Yeah, he's full of shit. Do you think he would tell Jessica that he still likes Mimii? No, he won't. No, he will gloss over that fact because Ayo knows exactly what he is doing at the end of the day. He knows what he is doing. But my guy doesn't seem to realise that all of this will come out in the wash because there's cameras all over the place 24/7 logging what you're saying and what you're doing. And if you think that this shit ain't going to come out in the wash later on, Ayo needs to think again, because Ayo thinks he's playing it like, you know, honestly. He thinks he's being honest and open when in actuality he's not, because he'll be sitting and saying one thing in Jessica's face, but then to the lads behind her back he's saying something completely different, and then he's also saying something completely different to Mimii, because the way he converses with Mimii is showing that, you know what, he actually isn't finished with her. But I think Mimii is the type, Mimii is trying to navigate this as best she can do, and I think she, hopefully, fingers crossed, she's completely finished with that dude, like seriously, because I am not championing for Ayo and Mimii to get back together. I am championing for Mimii and Josh to be together at the end of the day, because I think Josh is the better person. He hasn't done any type of bullshit yet, but it's early days. But I think Josh is the better person, as long as it's not with Ayo. That's all I'm happy for. We get to the daytime. So Jess tells Nicole about what she believed Hugo and Ayo were talking about. So she tells Nicole about the chat that they had off the terrace, and basically Jess is not liking that Hugo is moaning about the amount of flatness that's in their relationship at the moment. So we see it skip to Josh, and he wants to know where Mimi's head is at completely. And I'm kind of like, this is absolutely refreshing. This is refreshing that we have a guy here that ain't afraid to ask the questions that he needs to ask to get the answers that he needs back at the end of the day. Mimii basically said that he doesn't need to be cautious because she likes getting to know him. And Mimii basically said that he is the bombshell, and maybe, like, you know, he might want to put his eggs in different places. And I think that was a dig towards Grace. I wanted Mimii though to expressly tell Josh, even though she said, oh, there's nothing to worry there, to expressly tell him though that things were fully shut down with AO, but she didn't. So I hope that is not a sign of things to come. So a text comes in and it's the kissing competition, and I'm like, oh, this may not go down too well at all. Even Nicole was excited for this game and said it's a game. I thought, yeah, until it comes to the ratings, my girl, then it won't be so much of a game for you if Kieran don't give you a high rating. But I think some of these guys know exactly how their girls kiss, so once they realise who their girl is, yeah, they're going to give them that high rating straight away. So you see, everybody, I brush them teeth, all the girls be glossing it up. I was like, okay, you're getting really ready for this competition, ain't it? So the boys are blindfolded. So Grace goes along the line kissing the guys. So she kissed off Joey's face for the longest, is what I can say. Jessie was not liking that at all. And you see the sly look she gave Grace back when Grace walked back, and I thought, okay, Jessie has a bit of a jealousy streak. We'll see how wide that jealousy streak goes, but she's a jealous type of person. And those type of people, yeah, they don't do very well. Not very well at all. So Josh gave Grace an 8 out of 10. Hugo gave Grace an 8 out of 10. He said it was nice and slow, but it was a little bit sloppy. Okay. Joey said it was an 8. And Ruben said there was slop, so he gave her an 8. Sloppy doppy doppy. Whew. So we came to Jessica, and oh, Joey was going in when he kissed Jessica, and Jessie was getting butt hurt throughout all of it. He said it was the perfect kiss and gave her a 9. Hugo said he did a bit of madness, that Jessica did a bit of madness on his bottom lip. He enjoyed it and gave her a 7.5. AO said 9.5, because he akined it to this gal was making love to him basically. So he was like, yeah, that's a 9.5. And Sean said 3, it was too timid. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, because she probably didn't like you, mate. She probably didn't really want to kiss you. So, you know, as a girl does, if they really don't want to kiss a man, they ain't going to make the effort to. So Emma comes up, and her kisses were awkward, and her scores said that. So Hugo gave her a 4. He didn't enjoy it at all. Connor gave her a 6.5. Joey said 3. Kieran said 7.5. He felt it was decent. And Sean said 5. Safe to say Emma is a shit kisser. Let's just put that out there. Right, so Jess came up. I don't know what the hell Jess was doing in that. Because she literally came up, opened her mouth, and her tongue would lick them from their chin then into their mouth. And I'm like, what kind of technique is that? Is she doing it on purpose? That's all I wanted to know. Was she doing it on purpose? Because she kind of gave her a good full-on kiss to Hugo, so he realised who it was. But to the others, she was doing some kind of weird shit. Like, it was weird. So Hugo gave her a 9.5 because he knew it was Jess. Come on now. Blade said 3.5. There was too much tongue. And that's why I said there's no way Jess could have been doing that dog tongue on people like that in real life. There's no way she could kiss like that in a real life. Kieran gave her a 1. Ayo said 6.5. And he said because she licked him out a little bit. And I was like, my God, couldn't you have used a different different wording? But hey ho. Sean said 2 because it was pokey. He said it just felt like someone was doing this with their tongue. And that's what I'm saying now. I just did that shit on purpose. I mean, because if she really did kiss like that, my God, she's a shit kisser. Even though she says she's a really good kisser, I was just like, yeah, nah, that was not the one. So lovely Mimii went next, and let me tell you, Mimii can kiss you now. Mimii can kiss you now. Josh gave her a 10. Hugo gave her a 6.5. He said there was no tongue, and I'm like, but you know what, my love? You don't have to always have tongue when you kiss somebody. Sometimes the no tongue ones are the best kisses before you get to the main event at the end of the day. But Hugo knew who he kissed in terms of Jess, so he's going to rate the girls lower than Jess at the end of the day. Blade said 9 because that was the best one so far. Ao said 8.5. Jessica starts bleating about that was high, and I'm like, my girl, he gave you a 9.5, so be happy with that. Do you know what I mean? You still beat out like Mimii in that sense. So shut up. So Ruben gave her a 9.5, and I thought, yeah, that's how it's done. Emma and Grace, Mimii can kiss. Jessie, for me, watching that, couldn't kiss at all. It was like a car crash. Even Jess said, oh dear. Connor gave her an 8. Blade gave her an 8.5. Joey knows it was Jessie and gave her a 10. My girl really thought she was decent, and I was like, no, they're liars. They're liars. Her kiss was hard and looked a mess. It looked clumsy. I wouldn't want to kiss that, to be fair, but hey ho. So Nicole goes, Joey gave her a 0.6 because it felt like the girl that he kissed wanted to run away. I said, yeah, because Nicole didn't want to kiss you. Kieran gave her a 10. So we have Matilda, who went up last. Josh said 9. Hugo said 8.5. Joey insulted the kiss, but then rated it 9.5. And I thought, well, how does that work? How does that work? Yeah. And Sean said that kiss had him tingling downstairs and gave him a 10 because Sean knew exactly who he was kissing at that point in time. Now, they said that the winner was Matilda, but what I was shocked by is that Jessie, I think, was pitted second place. I was shocked by that because her kiss looked hella nasty. Like, seriously. So then we get to the night time, and now Jessie's getting mad about the game. I mean, flipping heck. She was getting mad because Joey was getting overzealous in it. Joey gets overzealous in everything that he does at the end of the day. If she wants to be with someone like Joey, she's going to have to accept his faults and all, because that's just who Joey is. Joey was doing the mostest, don't get me wrong, but it was a competition. It was a game to Joey. He didn't see anything wrong with it. So I don't know why Jessie's getting on her high horse. And Joey doesn't really like that kind of shit, to be fair. But hey, we'll see how they're fair. Ruben basically said that the best kisser for him was Mimii. I was like, okay, my brother, is that you? Is that you, though? So Jessie tells Joey that she feels she was disrespected in the game. I don't know how. I really don't know how she was disrespected in the game. If anybody knows how that girl was disrespected in the game, then please let me know, because I don't get some of the thinking of these women up in here. Like, I really, really don't. So Joey said he don't want to argue over the petty things, and basically Jessie is telling this man to think about her, like, before he does things. And I'm like, did you not see how he dealt with Sam and Grace, and you're asking Joey to think about you before he does things? Joe will kind of do whatever suits him at the time, and anybody else at that time be damned. So will Jessie change the habit of a lifetime? I don't think so. So you see Grace having a chat with Ruben, and Ruben says that he liked the chats that him and her are having right now, because he likes to be more mentally stimulated. It gets him going more, and that conversation with Grace was. I says, now there's the flirt, yeah, between Ruben and Grace, because the flirting, she says, was happening between her and Josh was not happening between her and Josh at the end of the day. It's quite staid. But how she's speaking and opening up, and how Ruben's speaking and opening up to Grace, you can see that there is a bit of a flirty banter going on between the both of them. So Jessica's speaking to Ao as to why he was getting mad that Jessica was in the top 3 kisser. And I'm like, yeah, he was the first one to be always stating when a game is a game at the end of the day. And I says it's because Ayo was not in control of the situation. Ayo likes to play too much at the end of the day. And majority of the games, Ayo was in control of in terms of what it is that he wanted to do. He could control the outcome of what other guys felt kissing his gal at the end of the day. So in comes the text, and it's brutal, like absolutely brutal. So they realise now that the public have been voting for their fave boy and fave girl, and the ones with the fewest votes will be at risk of being dumped. But what they do tell them, it's going to be like 2 couples, so 4 people will be going that night. So the 3 boys with the fewest vote was Blade, Hugo and Ayo. I was like, Ayo did not look happy with that at all. And the 3 girls they called out was Jess S, Emma and Jess. Okay. Interesting and more interesting. So 4 have to go. Remember me said that. So the public made the decision, which they were like shitting themselves for, because complete control has been taken. I'm telling you, I don't know what's happening with the villa this year, but literally they're causing all the drama, like all the drama up in here. So you see Mimii crying, she's got tears coming out of her eyes, and I don't know if that's fully for Ayo or fully for Jess as well, or for both of them. Because at the end of the day, what we have to understand as well is that Mimii had been with Ayo from the get-go. Like, they've been together from the get-go, and yes, they've been through some shit, and yes, Ayo is a dickhead of the highest standards, yeah, for letting someone like Mimii go. But that doesn't mean that her feelings for him in that sense have been completely shut down and shut off. So for Mimii, if he was to go, it would be upsetting for her at the end of the day, because she doesn't really want to see him disappear. So the 2 boys that ended up going were Blade and Hugo, and the 2 girls were Emma and Jess. Now everybody was hella shocked that Jess got picked and Jessica didn't, basically. All I will say is Jessica and Ayo best count their lucky stars. Well, more so Ayo best count his lucky stars that he's still in this place at the end of the day, because it could have easily have been him going out that door that night, let me tell you. Anyway, that is where the episode ended. I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. All I ask is that you please hit that subscribe button, you please hit that notification button, so when you know I'm on doing videos, please comment, like, chat, do all the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1K. And I'll be back across your screens very, very soon, my people. Peace out.